So today we are going to start object-oriented programming, that is called OPS. So OPS basically stands for Object-Oriented Programming Systems. Do you have any idea about OPS?
Oh, yes, Anuj.
Great. Can you tell me?
Yeah, object-oriented programming means everything we will do in the classes and objects. We'll taking the object and we will do some, we'll call the methods, all the action methods through that object.
Correct.
Yeah, and it has some features like all these things you mentioned in the screen.
Yeah. Okay. So if we talk about OPS, so there are certain features like we can have in an object-oriented programming, like when we say a programming language supports object-oriented programming, so what are the different features that covers? So you have like heard about abstraction, encapsulation, then this inheritance, and one more concept is there which we'll be covering here, that is polymorphism. So these are basically the core pillar, we can say. And this is the fourth one. Also we should include class and object here, because without class and object we cannot implement anything in this programming, right? Specifically in Java, like in C++, we might have code outside a class, but if we are writing something in Java, then class and object must be there, isn't it? Okay, so let's start from the first one, that is called data hiding. What is that? Any idea? Exposing
Yeah,
only
it's
important data. True.
uh,
Hi Mamta, how are you?
Hi, Anuj. Good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. So today we have started object-oriented programming and we are discussing a feature, data hiding. Do you have any idea about it?
Action or interface can hide the like
Okay,
we can get the we can do data hiding by abstract class or interfaces. That I meant.
okay, okay, fine. Okay, so let's talk about data hiding. So what data hiding is basically hiding hiding data of a class. Data of a class. What I mean by data of a class, like the members we have inside a class, instance variable, for example, from outside class. We can say what data hiding is: hiding data of a class from outside class. For example, we have a class student. We have this class and I have a variable called int roll number, and we have a string name. So if we have something like this, then there might be another class, for example, let's say test, which can have direct access of this something like student s, for example, is equals to new student, and then they can say s dot roll number, s dot name. So that means the data we have in this class is directly accessible by a third party class or a third class, isn't it? Tell me, yes or no? Please keep interacting. Giving access to only relevant variables, yes, we can say. By creation of an object, yes, we can. Okay, so what if I say private? So I'm writing in short. Now we cannot access this data using this s dot roll number and s dot name. That means we have applied some mechanism so that that data cannot be accessed by a third class. Getting my point? Means we are implementing kind of security here so that this data cannot be accessed by other classes. That means this roll number and name can be accessed only inside this student class itself. Now, what will be the use of this? Like, if we are not gonna use it inside our class, then how we will be able to use it? So we can have a concept of called setter and getter in this, which we will be using very extensively. Like, we'll have setter and getter. So in setter and getter method, we can have implement our logic like get roll number, for example, public int get roll number, and I'm saying some validation is here whether we want to show this roll number to the column or not. So validation would be there, for example, and then we can say like if the validation is correct or the user who is asking for these details are a valid user, we can say return roll number, right? So when someone says what is data hiding, we can say hiding data of a class from outside the class, or data member or instance variable of a class from outside class, then we can say yes, it is data hiding. Getting my point, guys? The data from outer classes, yes, yes, correct. Okay, now the next thing we have is abstraction, which is kind of similar kind of concept of data hiding, but let's talk in general what abstraction is. So do you guys have any idea like what is what is abstraction? Tell me. No one? That is what providing only important details of outside class and hiding other data and implementation. Yes, very close, Ravina. So in data hiding, what we are saying hiding our data or the data we have inside the class should not be accessed by a third class or outer class directly, right? We are saying that is data hiding. When we say abstraction is kind of similar thing. This is regarding hiding implementation details, like how the system works. For example, in general, let's take an example of ATM. So generally what happens, you go to ATM, you swipe your card, enter the money you want to withdraw, or like for example you want to check the balance, you choose appropriate action and it works accordingly. For example, you have chosen to withdraw some money, then it will ask for the amount you are looking for, perform the validation if you have that amount in your account or not. If yes, then it will withdraw that money and you will be able to collect that money, right? This is the process, like when you want to withdraw money from ATM. Do you know how this ATM system is working internally? Yes or no? So what we have is like the user who is using the ATM, he is having the GUI or the user interface. There are some buttons or some input fields where he or she entering the details, and based on that, like there are some buttons, they are pressing those buttons, and based on that, system is receiving some input and giving you the money back. How it is working internally, we are not concerned about that. Like how it's working, we don't really care about it. It's the system part, we are not going to take care of this, right? So in general terms we can say, like when we are really concerned about the task, like my task was to withdraw money and I'm able to withdraw, so I can say yes, abstraction is there. I don't know how the system is working, but yes, I was able to withdraw money. Getting my point? So we can say hiding or exposing relevant details to the end user. Exposing relevant details to the end user, or hiding unnecessary or unrelevant data or implementation from the user is called abstraction. This is general term, but in programming how it will be look like. For example, we have a class called bank account. Here we have, let's say, a method called get balance, and there we have set balance. These are the functionality we are having. For example, I'm not going into very much deep inside the code, and some withdraw method is there, for example. Okay, now there might be, like we have a GUI here, and there is a button of, let's say, withdraw. We have a button called deposit, for example. So here we have a user interface, basically, which is basically when we say withdraw, it is calling this method. Like what we are doing inside this method, this user who is making the transaction, he doesn't care how the system is working, right? We are saying deposit, it is saying set balance. Like how it is working, we don't really care about it, right? So we can say that this part of the system is uh, we can say hidden, hidden from user. So we can say there is a layer of abstraction, isn't it? Yes or no? Guys, please be interactive. You can unmute yourself and you can say yes or no. Like going back to chat again and again, it's consuming time. When I'm sharing my screen, then I can only see the whiteboard. Implementation of relevant data is hiding from user. Implementation of relevant data is hiding from user. Uh, yes, you can say, Mamta. Okay, now let's talk about C language. It doesn't support for abstraction, right? But if we say this system is written in C language, this system, this one I'm talking about, it's written in C. So we can say there is abstraction or not. Tell me yes or no. Pravina, tell me. What happened, guys? Hello. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, Anuj. I don't have any
Why you
idea
are
about
not
C
replying
language.
if you are getting or not? Yes, no. Say something.
I don't have idea about C language.
Pravina, do you have any idea? Like we have we have the system built on C language. So can we say there is abstraction or not? Anyone? Ambi, Danis, Prasanti. Oh, Pravina is not there. In Pravina is there. Yeah, at the end. Pravina, I'm asking something.
I don't
Yeah.
know, Anuj. That's why I'm
Uh,
keeping quiet.
okay, no problem. No problem. No idea. Pravina, you must have idea. Can you tell us? We are
It's
excited.
what, Anuj?
It's not. Why?
I didn't hear the question actually. Can you please ask again?
Okay, I'm saying C language doesn't support abstraction concept, right? And we have built this system using, let's say, in C language we have a concept of called structure.
Yeah.
Structure bank account. Then we have get balance function, set balance function, and withdraw function. And we have some kind of GUI here, like withdraw button is there, deposit button is there. When we say withdraw, it withdraw the money from the system, and when we say deposit, it deposits the money. So here the user, he only knows these two buttons like withdraw and deposit. He doesn't really know like whether what is behind this. So this is know only this particular area, right? What is behind the system, he doesn't really know. So can we say it is abstraction?
Yes.
Somewhat we can say, but not exactly.
Why not exactly?
Why? Because in you're asking in C or C++.
C language.
It's not a object-oriented programming, right? It doesn't have the classes and all those things. So
That's why
all
I took
the
structure. Struct
uh,
we have.
Yeah, structs is there, but I don't have actually exact idea. But
Okay, so
yeah.
what I'm trying to convey here, I'm taking a layman example. Like we are not concerned about the language for now. We'll come to the language level later on. So if we see the system, yes, abstraction is there because this user doesn't really know what is happening in this system, isn't it? So abstraction layer is there. But when we say abstraction in terms of programming, then we will have abstract class and interface. So we are not going to that much detail right now. We'll be going in a couple of days. So yes, if I say like this, even the system is written in any language, abstraction layer is there because the user can only see this part, the GUI, right? What is happening behind this system? He doesn't really worried about, isn't it?
I think every application does same thing, right?
Yes, yes. So like why we says something like this abstraction uh, and this data hiding, because if we go to very high level, like right now what I'm taking, I'm taking very high level concept, like there will be a user of system, right? User 1, and here will be user 2, for example. Here will be some user 3. So they don't really know how the system is working internally, but yes, they know there is a button you need to press and our work will be done, isn't it? What is the code executing behind this user doesn't know. So yes, we can say this is abstraction, right? But when we go inside classes code level and we say abstraction, how it's gonna work, then the concept of abstraction and interface will come into picture. So we'll be taking care of all these abstract classes interfaces in a couple of days, so don't worry. So for now we can say hiding irrelevant details is abstraction, right? Let me take one more example. For example, you want to drive a car, right? So the thing only you care about, like how to press accelerator, how to use clutch, how to put gear, right? But do you really worry like how this gear will work internally in into the engine level? Yes or no?
No.
No. So we can say there is a layer of abstraction, like we just know how to drive a car, like how this engine is working inside the car when we are like pressing the accelerator, pressing the clutch. We don't really care about it. Yes or no? So similar thing will happen when we will come to code level. Like there will be class 1, class 2. This class can communicate to each other, like class 1 can communicate with class 2, class 2 can communicate with class 1 directly. Then there will be a concept of called abstraction at code level. Will introduce interface, will will introduce abstract classes to achieve this abstraction in Java. Okay, so so far you got the basic idea like what abstraction is, If not, then let me know. I'll try to take more example. Can we proceed to next concept?
Yes, Anuj, here, how does it make the difference related to seed trucks and
Yeah, I was saying, like, when we talk about system level, then layer is there. Abstraction layer is there. For example, what people says about abstraction, it's hiding implementation details. All right. So, like, you must be using Facebook, for example, or Flipkart or Amazon. So you can do multiple things over there, but in the background, in the system, how your data is going to process, do you know? Yes or no? For example, you want to buy something, you do add to cart. So do you know what happens in the system at code level? So that's why I am saying, like, when we are talking about system level, not on code level or classes level, then we can say abstraction is there, like, between user and system. There is a layer of abstraction. System doesn't expose like how it is working. These details are inside the system, but the UI user can see, visible to user, that is the functionality that system has exposed that user. So for abstraction, we can say hiding internal implementation and highlight a set of service which we are offering, that we can say is a concept of abstraction, right? For example, in our example what we were taking, uh, we have a system. In this system, what we have is, we have two button, a screen is there, withdraw and deposit, and then here is a system, like, the code is here for all these functionality, withdraw, deposit. So we just say withdraw and it do something for us and gives us the money back. Deposit, when we say deposit, it uh, takes the money from us and it deposits that money into the account, right? So this is abstraction. uh, is it clear, Pravina?
yes, Anuj.
All right. Okay, now next thing we have is encapsulation. So any idea about encapsulation? No idea. Okay. Any idea about capsule?
I think encapsulation also does same thing. It will hide the data.
Okay. Okay, let's start with this encapsulation concept. So the term itself is derived from a word called capsule. So inside a capsule, what you guys see is medicine. Yes or no? So what this capsule does, it wraps the medicine inside, right? So similarly, when we say encapsulation, so encapsulation is a mechanism or a process of binding your data members and your methods together. For example, we have data like int id, a string name, and we have this data for person. There would be some behavior related to this person, let's say eat, walk. These are behavior for this person. So when we say encapsulation is basically wrapping up your data. What is your data? This is the data and the behavior together. That we can say it's encapsulation. So how we will do that? If we say this is a class person which has these data members and these behaviors, so we can say it's a perfect example of encapsulation. So when we say encapsulation, we can understand it like this: encapsulation is a process of binding data members and the methods together in a single unit, the single unit itself called a class. So class is as an example of encapsulation. The process of binding data and corresponding method into a single unit is called encapsulation. Any doubt in this? Okay, now there might be a confusion like how it is differ from data hiding. Okay, so when we were talking about data hiding, what we were doing, we were saying these variable to be private. But right now we haven't took this private modifier here, so we can say this data we have inside the class is available inside the class and can be accessible by the outer classes as well, because there is no restriction on that. But when we say private, that means the data we have here can't be accessible by outside class. Let's say we are hiding this data. Getting my point? So this is the difference we can see. Let me know if you have any doubt in this, like difference between data hiding and abstraction. So data hiding is basically making your members private inside the class. Okay, there is a concept called tightly encapsulated class. So what is that tightly encapsulated class? Whenever we have all the members of a class declared as private, we can say that class is tightly encapsulated. For example, if I say class student, and here we have int roll number, and then we have string name. So can we say this class is tightly encapsulated for now? No, we cannot. Yes, but when I say private, then we can say yes, all the members, like there might be other as well, and we put private, we declare those members as private, then yes, we can say a class is tightly encapsulated. So you might get this question like somewhere in MCQs, what is true about a tightly encapsulated class. So we can say a class is tightly encapsulated if and only if all the members declared inside the class are private. Okay.
We can make directly class as a private, right? So that we cannot access everything.
You want to make class as private here?
Yeah.
Okay. So if it is an outer class, we cannot declare it private. Like when we were discussing about these modifiers, private, public, default, and protected, I have told you we cannot use this private modifier with outer classes.
Yeah, but inner class with inner classes.
Yes, if you are working with inner classes and you are making the class itself as a private, then obviously yes, we can say we don't really need to go deeper. Like on, like for example, here is a class, let's say X, and this is inside the class. So obviously, like when this class is private, this data also be private, right?
Yeah.
Okay. One more thing that is related to this tightly encapsulated class itself. For example, uh, okay, we haven't discussed that. I'll come to that later on. After inheritance.
In encapsulation also, do we need to make the class members as a private or not?
In encapsulation,
Yes.
not really. We don't really need. But yes, like when we works in projects, so we create Pojo, or sometimes they also called as Bean. So we make them as tightly encapsulated class. Encapsulation is basically keep data member and method together. That's it. But when you say keep your member or declare your member as private, then it's tightly encapsulated, right?
That means for every variable, if you set the setter and getter, that is encapsulation, right?
Uh, yes, we can say like there might be other methods as well,
Yeah.
which basically uh, defines the behavior of the class. Or for example, there are ID and name, and based on this data, you want to perform some action. For example, let's talk about a bank class. So in bank class, there might be like balance, interest, right? And there might be some method for calculation, like this is the balance in this duration, this would be the interest for this duration, right? So functionality would be there. So you are taking interest, balance, and the functionality, which is basically calculating the interest together inside a class. We can say this, that class is an example of encapsulation. Any doubt?
Yeah, actually, that's what means binding is just using the data in the method or using that setter and getters.
Not setter and getter, like defining methods. Those method basically works on your data itself
Oh, okay.
inside the class.
Oh, that means not only the getter and setter and the other methods also. If you variables, all variables we can use in the any one method, right? So without using the variables, we cannot use the
Okay.
any method, right?
Okay, let me take an example. So this is the class, right? In this class you can have instance variable, right? And then you can have static variable, then you can have method, both type of method, non-static and static. There can be constructor, other methods can be there, inner class can be there. So yes, we are just concerned about this complete entity. And if we talk very specifically, so these instance variable and these non-static methods. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, let me know. Do you have any doubt about data hiding, abstraction, encapsulation, and tightly encapsulated class? We'll have a coding session for all this, so don't worry. Like for this data hiding and this encapsulation, we don't really need a session, but yes, for abstraction, we'll have some other classes as well, like interface we will be discussing, abstract class will be discussing.
I didn't get what is the difference between abstraction and encapsulation. In both we are getting same, we are doing same thing, right? Just we are
Uh,
hiding the data, right?
this is not data, like when we say abstraction, this is implementation details. For example, I don't want to go up in much detail. Uh, we have an interface here. So in an interface, we can declare a method. So like right now we are talking about Java 7. Like there are number of changes that has been made in Java 8. We'll be discussing later on. So inside an interface, we can say method like this: public, let's say int calculate, and this interface is basically, let me say, calculator. We have this calculate method inside this interface, and when we declare a method inside interface, we cannot provide this curly braces when we are talking about Java 7 or the previous version like 6.5.4. Java 8 has a different mechanism that we will talk later on. Because if I directly told, then you might not get like what are the benefits added in Java 8. Okay, so that's why I'm not taking that right now. So this interface calculator have a method public int calculate, but this definition is not there. What is this definition? This is called implementation. Okay, now we have a class. So I was supposed to cover this in uh, after inheritance discussion. So let me just take an example, and so that you can like get a clear idea what is the difference between uh, data hiding and abstraction. We have class, let's say addition. Addition implements calculator. And in this class we need to override this method public int calculate. Okay, let's say here we have two parameter, int x and int y as well. We'll be passing those here, int x comma int y. So as the class name itself says, it would be addition. So let me just say return return x plus y. Okay, so you can understand it like this. This is a class addition, in which they have calculate functionality, which basically do x plus y and returns us back. Now there is a third class, let's say test class is there, and there is a main method. In this class, what I am doing, I am saying interface I is equals to, so for example, I'm just taking it like this, and I'm saying I dot calculate. Even it is not valid declaration for now. We'll talk this later in detail. So for this, you can see from this code, we have a class test which is basically having an instance of this interface and calculating the calculate method. But there is nothing inside this calculate method, right? So how it is gonna work? It will call this calculate method, how it will calculate. So these details basically are not exposed to this test class. This test class knows to this interface, right? And this addition class knows to this. So basically what we are doing, we are adding a layer of abstraction here. Getting my point? Hello, Mamta?
Here I dot calculate function or I dot addition.
I dot calculate. This is the function name
Okay,
calculate,
okay. Class. This is a class.
and we are passing 10 and 20, for example.
Can we create instance for interface?
Sorry?
Can we create the instance for interface?
For interface, we cannot create object. That's why I told like this is not gonna work, and we'll discuss that later on. So this itself will not work. Like it will say null pointer exception. But yes, we can say like this new addition.
Yeah. For class, we can
Okay.
create object.
Yes. So addition is the child of this interface. We can do this, right?
Yes.
So we'll discuss this later on, so don't worry. So high level, you can say that is about implementation detail. There are two things. So implementation details I'm taking, hiding implementation details, that is abstraction. How we will do that in code? Will be using abstract class and interface. We'll see what are the difference, when to use which one. Okay, but when we say encapsulation, sorry, data hiding. So data hiding is basically hiding the internal data, or restricting the internal data we have inside the class to be accessed by third party classes or outer classes directly. This is for implementation details. So related to methods and data hiding.
So this related to whole class members.
Yes, data members, right? Don't worry, we'll, like the example we took here, we'll be using that example, and we'll be working on a running functionality, like how we can achieve this functionality in Java. Okay, so today we have covered 4 small concepts. Like we haven't gone into into very much detail. We'll be exploring what this. So we have covered data hiding, abstraction, encapsulation, and tightly encapsulated class. Then we will be using is a relationship. What is a relationship? Anybody has any idea about it? This is the main feature of Java. Inheritance.
Yeah.
Yes.
If a class implements one class another interface, that's a it has a type of, it is a type of that means relation with the other classes, means other interfaces or something. It doesn't have means I don't know how to say, but
Okay, so inheritance is basically a feature of Java which is used for code reusability. Let me take an example. For example, we have a class called bank, or let's say loan class. Okay. Now there are different type of loans. For example, personal loan, home loan, education loan, car loan, right? And if we want to write this kind of functionality, just assume, for example, for all these loans, let me write it down here. We have a loan application. We are going to build a loan application, for example. Okay, so loan can be a personal loan, car loan, or home loan, let's say. Okay, now to build this system, let's say we need to write 100 of methods. For car loan, we again need to write 100 method. For this, we need to write again 100 method, for example. Okay, now let's assume 60 method, or let's say 50 method are common in this, like the documentation. So these 50 methods are, let's say, for documentation purpose, for example, right? And the rest of the methods are related to the calculation. These 40 method are related, or sorry, 50 method are related to the calculation. Like calculation would be different in case of personal loan, in case of car loan it would be different, and in case of home loan it would be different. Okay, then we have this kind of scenario, for example. So in total, for example, there are 100 of methods, and in these 100 of methods, 15 are going to be same for all of the cases. But you can see we are writing how much method? 300 method, right? And let's say one method take your 1 minute or 2 minutes. So for 2 minutes, it would be a 600 minute job or developer time, right? If we are taking 2 minutes. But yes, if you have something like you have this functionality similar, right? 50 methods which are gonna be same. So you can have those methods to be written over here, and these all the classes will be using from loan class. Like whatever we are writing here in loan class would be available for these classes. So now if we go with this scenario, we need to write like 50 inside loan class, and 50 for this personal loan, 50 for this car loan, and 50 for home loan. So how much total? 200, right? Total 400 minutes, for example. Getting my point? So the code we already written inside loan class, we can use that. Why we are writing that common code again and again? Why we are not going to use this one? So these 50 method that we have written here can be reused here inside those classes. That is the concept of inheritance. Getting my point?
Oh, that means if a class or an organization that implements a bank interface that behaves like a bank, right? That's what you are saying.
Yes, we can say. Like,
Okay.
who is the parent of that class? For example, we haven't seen any example for now. Like, we have used string class, system class. We have used. Yeah, we haven't explored any kind of inheritance hierarchy right till now. Yeah, we'll be exploring in coming days. So if I say, yeah, so I have told you like object class is a parent class of all the classes. I told you or not?
Yes, sir.
So in this class there are certain method like toString, like hash code, right? Notify, notify all, get class. There are other methods too. So all these methods are available all the classes which you are going to write. Let's say I say class person. I haven't defined anything here, but with this class person I can use this toString method, this hash code method, this notify all, get class, right? So this is the benefit of inheritance. Inheritance means code reusability. Inheritance means code reusability. So how we will be doing that in code? We will be using extents, we'll be using implements, I would say this is not for inheritance. Okay, we'll be studying this is a relation inside this. So what basically is a means, let me take an example. Hmm, okay, let me take
It exactly parent-child relation, right?
yes, class vehicle. Okay, in this we have name, MFD, manufacturing date, for example, C number, chassis number. Okay, then we have a class called, let's say, car. Make, model, and let's say price, for example. And we are doing one more thing, which is we have price here, and we are extends vehicle in this class. So here we can say a car is a vehicle. Can we say that?
Yes, Anuj.
Car is a vehicle, right? This is a parent child relationship. Like if we make an object of car class, these three properties will be available inside car along with these three as well. So in total, how many properties will be there for car? Make, model, price, and name, MFG, and chassis number, right? So these are basically going to inherit from where? From its parent. Like there might be some methods like M1, M2. All these methods we are defining here would be available for this car class. Okay, so this is called is a relationship, or we can say tightly coupled relationship. Getting it? We'll be doing hands-on coding for this inheritance example, so don't worry. Let me know the concept is clear or not for now. Mamta, you are saying wait.
No, when you are saying about object class, in that I'm saying the method where it notify.
Okay. Let me just share my screen with you guys and then we'll see. So you might see my clips right now.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so let's say I have this demo 1 project, and in this demo project I have a class test 1. Okay, and I'm just removing this stuff. We have another class. Class of student. Okay, I haven't written anything in this student class, but when I say student, s is equals to new student, and I say s dot, you can see all these methods are available. So from where these methods are coming? We haven't defined any method inside this class yet. You can say equals get class has code notify to string wait, right? Right now 9 methods are visible, right? Now I am adding one more, void m, and we don't have anything in this, so you will be able to see this m here. Can you see it? Anybody tell me yes or no?
Yeah, yes, it's visible.
Yes. So that means the remaining methods equals get class has code, from where these methods are coming from
Object class.
object class. Let's say this class, we have another class, let's say person. Okay, and in this person class we have a method called get name. Okay, and this is gonna return us a string. All right, then we have to write a string name here, return default, for example. And if I say like this s dot, so you can see only the extra method we are getting is m, but when I say extends person and I go back, so you can see we are getting get name method as well. Can you see it? And if I do that, let me take it into a variable string, let's say name, and let me then print it. So what we are getting default, and from where it is coming? Parent class. Getting my point? Why? Because this extend, and if we don't have this, then there will be compilation problem, like you can see here. The method get name is undefined for the type student. Make sense?
Yes, Anuj.
Okay, so for now what I believe you got a very basic idea of all these terminologies: data hiding, abstraction, encapsulation, tightly encapsulated class, each a relation. A very basic idea. I'm not expecting you know everything. A very basic idea, like if I ask what is this, So one line answer you can give to me. So would you be able to give me one line answer in all these 5 terms? Data hiding, abstraction, encapsulation, tightly encapsulated class is a relation. Tell me if you are not able to do, then I will tell you that one line, and then I would expect the same thing you can answer to me. Anybody has which is not capable giving a one line answer on these 5 terms? Okay, I'm assuming you
Yeah,
got it.
that's clear with that, but
Sorry.
yes, it's clear for the basic things.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, now let me just share the whiteboard again, and we'll be discussing the next feature, which is has a relation. Can you see it? The
Yes, sir.
whiteboard. Okay, now we
Yeah.
are going to discuss has a relation. Has a relation. So it's a loosely coupled relation. This was a tightly coupled relation. Like the object we are associating with another are tightly coupled. Now this is has a relationship. What is this has a relationship? So let's understand it first. Class employee and we have one more class address. There are some fields in this class, there are some fields in this employee class, and there is one field which is address itself. So this is called has a relationship. How? I can say an employee has a address. So we can say like this, it would be an here for this particular case. Can you say this?
Yeah.
And what if I say employee is a address? Is it meaningful anyhow?
We employee has an address, right?
Yes, that is the correct one. What if I say employee is a address? Doesn't make sense, right? But if we take this example, vehicle is a car. Yes, it is. In general, like if we read this sentence, car is a variable. Yeah, it is perfectly valid, isn't it?
But in both the cases, main concept is reusability, right?
Yes.
In a easy also, you will get all the variables and methods inherited. Here also we can use through the object creation in the another class. We can use variables and methods. Then what is the
So yes,
difference?
let me tell you, it is very much flexible when we say has a relationship. Like you have added this, right? But later on it might be like you haven't used it. But when we say this kind of like let's say for example, I say uh, car C equals to new car. So all the feature from vehicle are available to C. Getting my point? By default. Now if I say employee E is equals to new employee, right? And I'm not gonna use it. So if I say E dot get address, for example, from this default behavior, what we will get is null. But yes, if we have set it all the information in this object, then we will be obviously able to get it. But in this case, whatever we have in parent will be available to this C object. Does it make sense?
So you're saying that in easy relationship, the usage is must, but in has a it's a optional, right? We can use or we cannot use.
Yeah, it's optional. It provides us flexibility.
Yeah. Or is it
Right.
what about the static variables in the parent class?
That is a
Those are
different
also
concept. That is different concept. Static we will talk about later on. Like when we say ops, so ops is basically applicable on objects or your instances, right?
yeah. Oh, regarding the variables, right? Only I'm just asking a one line answer. Just what about static variables also came with the has a relationship?
So if it is a static variable, that means it nowhere related to the object, first of
Yeah.
all. And yes, like without an object, it would be there in the memory, and we can directly straight away use that.
So
But
in
the
both the
concept is
cases we
not,
can use, right?
sorry.
In both the cases we can use, right? That using the class name.
Yes, yes, we can use, but the thing is that is not related to object. We are just talking about object. If you see, if I go back, I took two object, like for this I took C and E as an example. Getting my point? So static is a different thing that is nowhere related to object.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one question. In the
Yes.
car class also, we
Mm-hmm.
can access same way like employee class, right? If we want one variable, we want to access only one variable. We can object access through the object, right? Car object.
Didn't get your point. Come again.
Like how we are accessing in employee class. If we want only address, we are accessing the address by object, employee object, right? So in the same way, like in car class also we can access, right?
Which one you want to access in car?
Anyway variable, like it's maybe name or manufacture date, anything.
Yes. So we with this C you can just say C dot
Yeah.
get. Let's say what we have is name, and you will be able to get the name.
It is also optional, right? It depends on us, right? Whatever we need, we will access.
No. The thing is, this is when you say extend. This is sits with this object, right?
Okay,
But
okay.
when you say like this new employee, you haven't injected it. You haven't injected it inside this employee class. So if I say e dot get address, it is not yet injected, it is null. But yes, for example, you are passing that address object while creating employee, then obviously we can say yes, it is there.
So basically, it's a extended. That car class is a extended. That's why we are getting everything inherited. But here, employee class is not extended. That's why we can't access, right? Like
we
it's
we
optional.
can we
We
can
can, but
access.
it's optional.
Yeah, we can access, but it's not forcing us.
But car is it will come automatically. All the members
Yes,
of class.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
All right. So we'll have more discussion on these topics tomorrow onwards. Now, I would like to invite you, if you have any question, then please feel free to ask. We'll start from here, method signature, overloading, overriding, and then we will do some hands-on on all the concepts that we have discussed.
Here in the last topic, I understood the concept, but not 100%. I have some
The
other
has a
person.
relationship and is a relationship, right?
Yeah,
No worries, no worries. You know the one-liner answer. If
yeah,
that is, if you can able to answer that, then that's fine. Like that was the agenda for me to today. Like you should be able to answer at least one line for all these.
yeah. Uh, what I understood is correct or not? I will say, can you please tell me? In a easier relationship, without creating a parent class object, we are using all those data members and variables, right? But in has a, if you want to use that another class, we are creating an object in that class and we are using. That is the
Mm, uh, okay. So
main
when you
concept, right?
say, let me correct you. When we say inheritance, so you cannot create object of child class without creating object of parent class. I'll show you just now because it's gonna confuse you all of the guys. So let me just share my Eclipse screen and we'll discuss this right now. So this is the class we have, student and person, right? So let me take student. Okay, so every person will have a name. So I'm taking string name. Okay, so this is a common field, and here in this class we have a person constructor which is gonna be a string name, and this dot name is equals to name. Okay, so there is a class called student which is like complaining us. So first of all, let me do one thing. So this is student, so we can say every student will have a roll number. Okay, let me take one more class which is employee ID, sorry, employee. And we know every employee will have a employee ID. Getting my point? Either even it is the same thing, but we are taking like a different name for it. Now you can see all these two classes, student and employee, are complaining what they want to say. Read it carefully. Implicit super constructor, person is indefined for default constructor. Like if you are extending person class, then you need to define a constructor. Do the same thing for this, right? And later on, what you can do is you can do your stuff. So you can see from this example, when we will be using like new student, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to pass a name like this, right? So we'll be passing that name here. Let's say student name is Anuj, for example. Okay, and now when I say student, it will go to the body of the student constructor, and inside this we can say it is calling to super means it's parent constructor. So it will go here, right, and create this person object first. So yes, when we are going to try or going to build an object of child class, then first it will build parent class object so that it can be available inside the child. Getting my point? If parent is not available, then how child will be able to use? Try to understand this. So when you say this, it will go here, right, and will prepare your parent object first. Let me just do one thing. Like we are here inside the constructor, so first line will be executed this, but I cannot write like something here. You can see it. Why it doesn't allow? You can see it will say super must be the first statement in a constructor. So I can have this here. Let me say I am in employee constructor. Okay, and similarly I'm saying the same thing for this. I'm in student constructor, and finally I'm saying the similar thing here. We can use, like, you can see it is not complaining like it was complaining here. So here I'm saying I'm in person constructor. Okay, now let's go to main. What I'm doing is I'm creating an object of student class, which is a child of person class. Okay, and let me just expose one functionality here for this name. So I would say the string get name and return this dot name. Okay, now s dot get name. So this get name is coming from where? From its parent. Okay, let's run it once and you will see like how it's working. So first it was creating person constructor, then student constructor, then it was printing this s dot get name. But if you see in the code, what we did, we are calling student object, student constructor, right? Inside, when it is here, it will directly go inside parent class constructor. So like from this it will from this line, it will come here. Here it will find a super call and it will look for the parent class constructor, which is basically I cannot scroll for, give me a moment, let me do it again. Let me just clear it. And remove the extra spaces, then we'll see it. Just a moment. So employee class we are not using. Let me just keep it here for now. Yes, so this is the code we have, and from the main method we are saying create an object of Anuj, sorry, student, and it will go here. When it is inside this constructor, it will go here, right? It will create object of person. It will keep name in this person object here using this, and will print this statement. So this is the line number 1, we can say will be printed, and then it will say this dot name is equals to name, so name will be stored here. Then from this it will go back, right, and we'll say I'm in student constructor. This is the line number 2 will be printed, and after execution of this block, child object of student will be ready, which is pointing to this, right?
Is this
And
called at runtime or a compile time only?
runtime.
Runtime.
Yep.
And here our
So-
parent also have the same constructor like child. It will call if you don't have, if the parent has doesn't have the same arguments in the constructor, then what will happen?
Sorry, come again.
Here the student class has constructor and person class has also have the constructor with the same parameters like string
Okay.
name, right? If either of the class doesn't have that matching, means how can this can be achieved?
So if there is no constructor in parent class, then child cannot have this super call. Like, let me just remove it once and then we'll show you. Okay. So for example, we don't have this here, then it will create compilation issue here. You can see we have removed that name from here, so it will say like parent class accepts an argument that you need to pass. Okay, let it be as it is. What I'm doing here is now, like, I'm not passing from here, then it will say I don't really need a name, why you are passing, then I can leave it here like this. But yes, it it should be there. But when we say a default constructor in parent class, then we don't really need to mention this, and it is perfectly fine. There is no issue. Like when we say we are going to define a constructor in a class, a parameterized constructor, then the default constructor that Java inserts automatically gets removed, right? Similarly, in case of this inheritance, this super call is there, but it is hidden, and it can works with default constructor only. Like for now in person class there is a constructor which is default. Getting my point? So then we don't really need to take care, like we need to pass any parameter inside super call. But yes, if it is having some variable, then we need to pass it. The reason is, until or unless parent is not ready in the memory, how child can use its property? Getting my point? So first of all, parent object will be ready, then only child will be ready to use and will be able to access all the features or data from parent class. Make sense?
In this case, parent class loaded in the memory with the default values, right? First of all,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, yeah, clear.
Okay. Anybody has any other doubt?